During the third quarter of the 2021-22 school year, I stepped away from teaching after 14 years in the classroom to sail around the world with my family. Before I left, I had one final message for my students. I called it the last lesson.
So this is what I'm calling the last lesson by Mr. Knox. And this is also, I call this my 8 rules for life. So here it is, Mr. Knox's 8 rules for life. 1, and I know I'm biased on this as an English teacher. The first rule is to read. Life is too short for you to learn everything that you could know to be as successful as you could be. Learn from other people's mistakes and achievements, and the best way to do that is to read. Listen to audiobooks, watch documentaries, consume information. Rule number 2 is roll the dice. Leave parts of your life up to total chance. Not everything. But you see, right now, your life has, for the most part, been directed by your family or upbringing, and that's okay. And your online existence is currently directed by algorithms. So you're kind of already being directed down a specific path, whether you are conscious of it or not. So at times, when faced with the decision, just simply roll the dice. Just throw a dart at the board and make a random pick. It'll make all the difference. 3, love is work. Now, I know what I'm about to say, tragically, is not always true for every one of my students. But for the most part, your parents kind of love you no matter what. When you were a baby and you pooped yourself, they would go, "Oh, what a cute little booty," and they'd wipe your booty. And when you cried, they would console you. And when you're a brat, they would still love you. But when you're an adult and you're in a relationship with another adult, you will have to put in the work to be loved. You see, you deserve somebody that earns your love, that works for your love. And you will need to earn somebody else's love, to work for their love. Now, you'll forgive them on different things, and they'll forgive you for different things. But love is earned. It's different than adult-child love. 4, therapy and medication can help. Now, I will share, I am 45 years old. I have seen multiple therapists in my life. And for the last 2 years, I've taken antidepressant medication. And before you think, Mr. Knox, that's why you're so high energy. For me, it's not that. What it is it helps the down times not be so down, and it helps me come back a little bit easier from the down times. It helps me not be so quick to anger. It helps me be able to come down at the end of the day and not be so stressed out. And so if your car makes funny noises, take it to the mechanic. If your tooth hurts, go to the dentist. If your head or heart ache, you should see a doctor, see a therapist. You were meant to be happy. It's okay. Number 5 is give grace. Now, every day for the rest of your life, give or take, you're going to interact with around 25 people. Every day, more or less. And there'll be different ages of people depending upon where you're at in your own life. But of those 25 people, on average, 1 will have recently lost a loved one. 3 will be behind on rent and can barely afford food. On average, out of the 25 people you interact with every single day, 1 will have recently lost their job, depending upon the age in which you interact. 1 will have been recently assaulted or even raped. Of the 25, 4 are battling addiction and not always successful. 1 has recently seriously considered suicide. It is actually amazing more people aren't jerks every day, considering how much people have going on in their life. So when somebody is off, or kind of a jerk to you that day, give them some grace because you don't know what they're going through. And if you are one of those people I mentioned in that 25, know that you're not alone. Not by a long shot, you're not alone. Number 6, have a plan B and go big. If there's a net, jump. If the worst that happens when you go for your dreams is that you have to move in with your parents again for a little while, or you've got to sleep on your friend's couch for a bit, or even that you got to live in a tent as long as you're okay living in a tent, then go big on your dreams. Now, when you have kids and are married, having a plan B is a little bit more complicated. But the idea that I can't do something because of this or that is almost never actually true. It is often an excuse keeping you from going for your dreams. So have a plan B, and then go big with your life. Speaking of excuses, this is number 7. Gifted is an excuse. What I mean by that is to say that the greats are gifted is a lie. Now, to be fair, if you're 5 feet tall, you might need to switch from power forward in basketball to coaching if you want to make the NBA. And living in Colorado, you are better suited to be a professional snowboarder than a professional surfer. These things are true. But make no mistake, gifted is what people often call insanely hardworking individuals as a way to feel better about their own mediocrity. Now, there is nothing wrong with being mediocre. By all accounts, I live a happy, maybe adventurous, mediocre life. There's nothing wrong with playing pickup basketball at the YMCA for the rest of your life. But if you want to go for greatness, and you are willing to put in the 10,000 hours of the right work, seek out the best coaches and mentors and therapists, then I truly believe that you can be one of the best in your field. And then people will look to you and say, that person's gifted. Gifted is a lie. It's about the work. Number 8, break the rules. Most people don't talk about this, but it is a key element of the hero's journey. If you remember, the hero must leave home. They must deny the threshold guardians, which are often their parents that tell them not to do something. Sometimes their society, or even their God, that say that something should not be done. But the hero must break the rules and go forward regardless. And rules, by the way, are almost always a form of control rather than what is really best for you. As your teacher, I'll tell you that living your life in school based upon the bells and the ringing thereof, when we start school, assigned seats forcing you to raise your hand to speak, those are ways in which 100 adults are able to control 2,000 kids each day. It's not necessarily what's best for you. It's what helps us control. So with that being said, I am not saying drive 100 miles an hour by an elementary school. That is not what I'm getting at. I'm giving my final rules for life. What I am saying is knowing what rules to break and what rules to follow is often impossible to know at the time, which means you will hurt yourself along the way, and worse yet, you will hurt others. But that's where grace comes in. Your willingness to forgive others will ultimately teach you the ability to forgive yourself on this journey. So with that, those are Mr. Knox's 8 rules for life and my final lesson for you. I encourage you the courage to go after your own dreams. And I will be here tomorrow with donuts for a party.